गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अथ द्वादशोऽध्यायः भक्तियोगः। अर्जुन उवाच एवं सततयुक्ता ये भक्तास्त्वां पर्युपासते ये चाप्यक्षरमव्यक्तं तेषां के योगवित्तमाः। श्रीभगवानुवाच मय्यावेशमनो ये मां नित्ययुक्ता उपासते श्रद्धया परयोपेतास्ते मे युक्ततमा मताः। ये त्वक्षरमनिर्देश्यम् अव्यक्तं पर्युपासते सर्वत्र गमचिन्त्यं च कूटस्थमचलं ध्रुवं सन्नियम्येन्द्रियग्रामं सर्वत्र समबुद्धयः ते प्राप्नुवन्ति मामेव सर्वभूतहिते रताः। क्लेशोऽधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्तासक्तचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर्दुःखं देहवद्भिरवाप्यते। ये तु सर्वाणि कर्माणि मयि सन्न्यस्य मत्पराः अनन्येनैव योगेन मां ध्यायन्त उपासते तेषामहं समुद्धर्ता मृत्युसंसारसागरात् भवामि न चिरात् पार्थ मय्यावेशितचेतसाम् मय्येव मन आधत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय निवसिष्यसि मय्येव अत ऊर्ध्वं न संशयः। अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय। अभ्यासेऽप्यसमर्थोऽसि मत्कर्म परमो भव मदर्थमपि कर्माणि कुर्वन् सिद्धिमवाप्स्यसि। अथैतदप्यशक्तोऽसि कर्तुं मध्योगमाश्रितः सर्वकर्मफलत्यागं ततः कुरु यतात्मवान् श्रेयो हि श्रेयो हि ज्ञानमभ्यासात् ज्ञानाध्यानं विशिष्यते ध्यानात् कर्मफलत्यागः त्यागात् शान्तिरनन्तरम् अद्वेष्टा सर्वभूतानां मैत्रः करुण एव च निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः समदुःखः सुखक्षमी सन्तुष्टः सततं योगी यतात्मा दृढनिश्चयः मय्यर्पितमनो बुद्धिः यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैः मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः अनपेक्ष शुचिर्दक्ष उदासीनो गतव्यथः सर्वारम्भपरित्यागी यो मद्भक्तः स मे प्रियः यो न हृष्यति न द्वेष्टि न शोचति न काङ्क्षति शुभाशुभपरित्यागी भक्तिमान्य स मे प्रियः समः शत्रौ च मित्रे च तथा मानापमानयोः शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु समः सङ्गविवर्जितः तुल्यनिन्दास्तुतिर्मौनी सन्तुष्टो येन केनचित् अनिकेतस्थिरमतिः भक्तिमान् मे प्रियो नरः ये तु धर्म्यामृतमिदं यथोक्तं पर्युपासते श्रद्धाना मत्परमा भक्तास्तेतीव मे प्रियाः। ओम तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु ब्रह्मविद्यायां योगशास्त्रे श्रीकृष्णार्जुन संवादे भक्तियोगो नाम द्वादशोऽध्यायः। अथ त्रयोदशोऽध्यायः क्षेत्रक्षेत्रज्ञविभागयोगः। अर्जुन उवाच प्रकृतिं पुरुषं चैव क्षेत्रं क्षेत्रज्ञमेव च एतद्वेदितुमिच्छामि ज्ञानं ज्ञेयं च केशव। ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु। Please give me 2 minutes. I'll share the screen. Yeah, so we were in the 6th or 7th shloka. Dr. Savita. I think yes. Tanvi is ready. Shloka.
Jai Gurudev Bilaji, we were supposed to do shloka number 8. Though today I am not prepared at all because yesterday was first Navaratri and also it was a Sunday. So
Yeah.
I was not able
So
to.
what do you suggest, Namaraji, if you can guide us how to proceed?
Someone must have prepared if like.
So till 7th completed.
Yeah, in case no one is prepared, I think we'll just read the PDF.
Okay. Okay. From shloka 8 onwards.
Yeah, from 8 onwards.
Yeah, onwards. Okay. And tomorrow I will try to have the PDF of the 12th chapter, only the verses, so that everyone can chant along. I'm sorry today I could not search
Just
strength.
wanted to check the last verse.
Yes, Pramanaji.
It is Shraddha Dana.
Shraddha
Shraddha
Dana.
Dana Mat Parama. I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah. Shraddha Dhana. Okay. Shraddha Dhana Mat Parama. Okay. Dhanyavad, Pramanaji. Shraddha Dhana. Noted. Okay, just let me know if my voice is breaking, then we can, someone else can read for us. Whoever is available, kindly help us. If my voice is breaking, otherwise I can continue. But please do let me know if it is disturbing. So, Bhagwan had said that Tesham Aham Samudharta, I will be their rescuer. Bhagwan has given such a confirmed, so we don't have to worry. So we will proceed. Mayyeva manadhastva mayi buddhim niveshaya nivasishyasi mayyeva ata urdhvam na samshayah. In me alone may you place the mind, into me may you make the intellect enter. Thereafter, there is no doubt that you will abide in me alone. I repeat, in me alone may you place the mind. Into me may you make the intellect enter. Thereafter, there is no doubt that you will abide in me alone. Commit your buddhi and mind to me. Mai eva, in me alone. This me, Shankara says, is Ishvara as the cosmic form. Vishwarupa. May you commit your mind to me. Mayeva mana adhastva. Both manah and buddhi mean the antahkarana. So, when they are used together as they are here, each has a restricted meaning. Though both are antahkarana vrittis, there is a difference based on the process of thinking involved. Manaha is fluctuating between certainty and uncertainty, sankalpa vikalpa atmakam. Buddhi is the function that leads to a well-ascertained conclusion. Nishchayatmika. Both must be says. Why should he mention each separately? When the mind is placed in Ishvara, is the buddhi also not necessarily placed there? That may not be so at all. One may not have the commitment that arises from a well-assimilated understanding of what one wants. Purushartha Nishchaya. What is Ishvara? Why I am doing this? What is the phala that I am seeking? The ascertainment of all this is involved in the Nishchayatmika Buddhi. Then, when you place your mind in Ishvara, it will stay there. Otherwise, when there is vagueness about the very pursuit and the nature of Ishvara, other interests are equally compelling, and naturally the mind will stray. But if you have determined what you really want, your pursuit is directed and meaningful. That is why the value Tattva Jnanartha Darshana is pointed out in the next chapter. Constant study of Vedanta Shastra, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatva, is also a value mentioned there. But that alone is not enough. As a value, it can be very vague, and therefore, he says, The study should be done keeping in view that the purpose is knowing the truth of oneself. Tattva Jnanartha Darshana. This is Purushartha Nishchaya. So beautifully, Swamiji has differentiated between mana and buddhi. Both are part of antakarana, but one is sankalpa vikalpa atmakam and another is nishchayatmika. Buddhi is nishchayatmika. And once we know why we are doing our Ichha Shakti, then we can place our mind into Ishvara, we can place our mind in Ishvara and it will stay there if we have that determination and if we have that Tattva Jnanartha Darshana. Yesterday, dear Nanaji had beautifully explained that the whole creation is out of Maya, which is Brahmashraya Maya. So we have to have the clear-cut idea about the Nishchayatmika Buddhi and our Sankalpa Vikalpa Mana. Anybody would like to share understanding, please, because this is very, very important, profound explanation. If you do not have commitment for your Nishchayatmika Buddhi, then there will, and if that is not placed in Ishvara alone, then our mind will continue to stray. What I am really seeking in life is moksha, which is the result of tattva jnana, knowledge of the truth. These two things have to be connected. It must be clear that what you want is freedom. And if you only understand that you want to be free, that alone is not adequate. In the search for freedom from pain, people resort to all kinds of things. What they do has nothing to do with what they really want, because the nature of moksha and the means for it is not very clear. I repeat, very important and profound. What I am really seeking in life is moksha, which is the result of tattva jnana, knowledge of the truth. These two things have to be connected. It must be clear that what you want is freedom. And if you only understand that you want to be free, that alone is not adequate. In the search for freedom from pain, people resort to all kinds of things. What they do has nothing to do with what they really want, because the nature of moksha and the means for it is not very clear. Therefore, Bhagavan says, Tattva Jnanartha Darshana. For this, it must be clear that moksha is the nature of Atma, which is not separate from Ishvara Swarupa, the very Ishvara that appears in the form of this world. It cannot be a vague notion of a God who is located somewhere administering reward and punishment. This kind of Ishvara is replaced by Ishvara as Saguna Brahma. Therefore, may you commit both your mind and buddhi to Ishvara. This is one meaning. Or we can say, having chosen me, let your mind dwell upon me and your buddhi enter into me. Making the buddhi enter into Ishvara is done only through inquiry, vichara. And the inquiry must be proper. If you keep on asking, who am I? What answer will you get? only what you already know about the person who is asking. The more you ask, the more apparent is your confusion. Atma is not going to reveal itself because it is already evident in the questioner. It is not for want of questioning that the essential nature of Atma is not revealed. The most that can happen through this kind of inquiry is an absorption, layer of ahankara, as in deep sleep or a moment of joy. That is purely a condition, not knowledge. You emerge from it knowing nothing more about yourself. The maximum you can get when you ask the question, who am I, is laya. How can there be jnana? If somebody coughs, the ahankara returns and the samadhi ends because the ahankara continues to exist in a subtle form. If, however, there is total absence of identity with the ahankara, because you know differently, there cannot be any coming back. In spite of the presence of the ahankara, there is no real ahankara because the self Atma is free from ahankara, though ahankara is not free from the self. Then no problem is posed by the ahankara. That is jnana. How do you get it? Atma cannot be any more evident than it is now, and it is not opposed to ignorance of yourself either. Atma will not protest, as light is not opposed to what you read. Similarly, Atma Chaitanya is not opposed to what you think. If you think I am a monkey, it will illumine that thought as well as any other. If ignorance is there, consciousness is there. If ignorance is not there, consciousness will still be there. Only a vritti that occurs in the buddhi, revealing the nature of Atma, is opposed to self-ignorance. I repeat, Atma cannot be any more evident than it is now, and it is not opposed to ignorance of yourself either. Atma will not protest, as light is not opposed to what you read. Similarly, Atma Chaitanya is not opposed to what you think. If you think I am a monkey, it will illumine that thought as well as any other. There is a continuous notification for unstable internet. Please let me know if it is disturbing. If you think I am a monkey, it will illumine thought as well as any other. If ignorance is there, consciousness is there. If ignorance is not there, consciousness will still be there. Only a vritti that occurs in the buddhi, revealing the nature of Atma, is opposed to self-ignorance. Atma Chaitanya, consciousness, which is the nature of Atma, is not opposed to ignorance. Therefore, simply asking, who am I, will not work here. You need an appropriate means of knowledge, a pramana. Here, the problem is a non-recognized and therefore mistaken Atma. To correct the mistake, you require jnana of Atma, and to gain the jnana of Atma, you require a pramana. Perception and inference can reveal only anatma, not Atma, as we have seen. Therefore, you seek the answer to the question, who am I? Not within yourself, but in the Shastra, which is the Pramana. When you study Shastra, you commit yourself to Parmeshwara. Mai buddhim niveshaya means may you inquire into Parmeshwara. This is nothing but Vedanta Vichara, which reduces to an inquiry into sentences like Tat Tvam Asi. The idea is to set your mind upon Saguna Brahma and live a life of Karma Yoga and commit your buddhi to Vichara of Ishvara. Then there is nothing that can stop you from knowing me. So if anyone can explain in a simpler way, kindly unmute and explain. It's a very, very beautiful explanation. So when we sit for meditation, it is because our mind and buddhi both are not clear. That is why even a small disturbance will either irritate us or will break our meditation. So once our mind is given that vichara, that I am not that small, I am one with the whole creation, then it will stay there. That Nishkamika buddhi there. Anyone can explain?
Jai Gurudev. I think in comparison to a person who's not studying the Shastra and who's just sitting and, meditating, doing who am I, what he reaches is only a state of laya, just like how we learned about the Nirvikalpa Samadhi. So that is also a state of absorption. It is not a state of jnana. It is not jnana. So that is only going to, at most, dissolve the ahankara for that moment. But the moment there is some disturbance, you're again back to square one. Whereas the importance of Shastra, the importance of Shastra Vichara is highlighted here in that what needs to be practiced is the Brahma Bhyasa with the backing up of the Shastra. So when that happens, then there is the possibility of true knowledge dawning. Otherwise, it is only a state of laya. So that distinction is what is brought out by Swamiji very beautifully here. And for that Brahma Bhyasa, we need that Vritti Jnana. That, like the verse which says, Brahmarpanam Brahmavi, everything around is Brahman. What is offered is Brahman, what the offering is Brahman. So if we are able to see the world with that, from that angle, and we continue the upasana, it is not that you just do that and without upasana. So both are required. So the importance of Shastra, importance of the Vritti Jnana is highlighted here.
Laya is a dissolve, is it?
Laya is a state of samadhi, so to say, where even it's like a state of deep sleep, so to say. In the wakeful state, you're in that state.
Mainly it is for ahankara dissolution, right?
Yeah. Temporary ahankara dissolution. So we should not be carried away by those. It's not like you don't. It is, of course, a state much better than being wakeful and being an ahankari and everything. But that is not the end. We don't stop there. Shastra Vichara is important. That is why knowledge, wisdom, knowledge is so important. Because ultimately, even that becomes an act of karma. No? That laya is itself an act of karma, where you're sitting and asking, who am I? Who am I? Or you're singing and you're getting into a laya. So all that ultimately becomes karma. And we learned in Atma Bodh that karma cannot liberate you. No amount of karma you do liberates you. It will, of course, help in purifying the inner equipment and keep it ready for knowledge to happen. Nididhyasana is ultimately important. All that we listen to, all that we deliberate upon, clearing up all our doubts through Manana, ultimately should take us to the state of Nididhyasana, where that inner inquiry is there. Which is why Swamiji says, people go through grief. It should not be like a mandate, oh, you should not grieve. Shitoshna sukha dukkeshu samasang. You have to be equanimous. You cannot push yourself to that state. It has to come from an inner inquiry. You should process your grief. Understand what is happening. Why is this? Where is this emotion of grief coming from? So that inner processing, backed up by vichara, is what will ultimately be liberating.
That initially we may take the Shastra and Pramana till you realize, right, Prabhaji?
Yes. I'm reminded again of what Nana very beautifully quoted yesterday from the Upanishads. May not be completely relevant, but talking of Tattva Jnana, Shastra, mantras and all that. In the Maitri Upanishad, it is said, the gist of it, I don't remember the whole thing. Tattva Jnana is, he classified seekers as different grades, different categories. The highest form of seekers are those who deliberate on Tattva Jnana. Who am I? What is this universe? All those questions of existence, of creation, that is Tattva Jnana. And then a step below are those who follow Shastra Jnana. And then below them are those who base everything on just mantras. And then ultimately the base rung are those who consider that going to pilgrimages and pious places, auspicious places, is what is liberating. So each of us has to kind of give ourselves a self-appraisal and say, where do we stand? Or just understand. Again, it is not to negate any of these. Each of them has their own role, but ultimately the highest form is self-inquiry.
And then combining these two, the Vedanta Shastra, Adhyatma Jnana Nityatva, and the Tattva Jnana Jnanartha Darshana. So both have to be combined to be in that state or reach that state. It is mentioned, no? These two things have to be connected. Then only you will be reach that state of freedom or moksha.
Yes, Savitaji, very beautiful, very true. So, Mai buddhim niveshaya. Thereafter you shall live or abide in me alone. Atah mai eva nivashishyasi. Does the jiva, the devotee, live in Ishvara like an amoeba in the stomach? If that is so, he will still be separate. Therefore, Shankara says, you shall enter into me in the form of myself. There is no longer an Ishvara's Atma and Jiva's Atma. Only one limitless self, as the Jiva resolves its notion about itself. That is entry into Ishvara. This is the result of meditation supported by inquiry and a life of Karma Yoga. I repeat, very important. Thereafter, you shall live or abide in me alone. Ataha mai eva nivashishyasi. Does the jiva, the devotee, live in Ishvara like an amoeba in the stomach? If that is so, he will still be separate. Therefore, Shankara says, you shall enter into me in the form of myself. There is no longer an Ishvara's Atma and Jiva's Atma. Only one limitless self, as the Jiva resolves its notion about itself. That is entry into Ishvara. This is the result of meditation supported by inquiry and a life of Karma Yoga. Thereafter, there is no doubt. Ataha urdhvam na samshayah, that you will enter into me. I repeat, thereafter there is no doubt. Ataha urdhvam na samshayah, that you will enter into me. Thereafter can be after this knowledge or after death. There will no longer be any doubt because there is no jiva, only Ishvara. Even after death, one is not born again. Na punara vartate. We can put it in another way. While living, if you are with me, then who dies? Unless Ishvara dies, you cannot die because you are Ishvara. Ishvara is Nitya. So there is no possibility of death for you. Once the subject matter has been taught, it is very clear what you should do. So clear that there is no reason for doubt. Still, it is necessary to say na samshayah, because Arjuna asked the question here. That means he has doubts. Therefore, Bhagavan says, if you live like this, you shall enter into me. There is no doubt about that. Arjuna wanted to know who are better in the sense of being nearer to moksha. Those who pursue Nirguna Brahma or those who follow a life of Karma Yoga with meditation upon Saguna Brahma. Krishna answered that these Karma Yogis meditating upon Parameshwara as the Vishwarupa are nearer to the Lord. They are Yoga Vittamas. He did not want to talk about those who pursue Nirguna Brahma because they are not available for comparison. They are Jnanis, for they have all the requisite qualifications which are gathered only by Karma Yoga. Addressing the Karma Yogis, he said, let your mind be set upon me, let the buddhi have a commitment backed by understanding, nishchaya about me. In this way, if you contemplate upon Parameshwara, you will have the right antahkarana, and thereby you will remain one with me, meaning you will discover the oneness that exists between you and Ishvara. A devotee is a karma yogi for the sake of the antahkarana shuddhi required to gain knowledge. He wants to quicken the process by meditating upon Ishvara, but he is not able to do so. Then the Lord said, you can get your mind into the object of meditation if you follow the steps below. Yeah, so here Bhagwan is keeping the sannyasis away as they are not comparable. The way Ma Ganga is Gnan itself, she is not comparable with any other river. In the same way, sannyasis are Bhagwan Ishvara only. So they are not comparable with Karma Yogi. Yeah, I will need the help for continuing. Anybody can help?
I will
Actually,
take
not
over,
Karma
Bella.
Yogi. He said Nirguna Upasak. Those who are Nirguna Upasak, that cannot be compared with the Karma Yogi. Can you
Okay.
go to that line again?
Yeah. You mean from once the subject or
Yeah.
yeah.
The comparison between the Karma Yogi and
Bella, are you
Nirguna
able to share
Upasak. No.
screen for 2 minutes?
Yeah. I can continue to share this. If you can,
Yeah, maybe
somebody can read. Yeah, can someone help to read?
Yeah, just give me 5 minutes before I get to my computer. Someone can read that paragraph in the meantime.
I can do that.
Yeah, dhanyavad.
Yeah.
So I think from here, from the previous paragraph, just let me know from where.
Once the subject matter has been taught. She was
Yeah,
asking,
okay.
I think
Okay.
Sarlaji was asking.
Okay.
Which paragraph I should start?
Yeah, here, once
Huh.
the subject.
Once the subject matter has been taught, it is very clear that what you should do. So clear that is no reason for doubt. So clear that there is no reason for doubt. Still, it is necessary to say na samshayaha, because Arjuna asked the question here. That means he has doubts. Therefore, Bhagwan says, if you live like this, you shall enter into me. There is no doubt about that. Arjuna wanted to know who are better in the sense of being nearer to moksha. Those who pursue Nirguna Brahma, or those who follow a life of Karma Yoga with meditation upon Saguna Brahma. Krishna answered that these Karma Yogis meditating upon Parameshvara as the Vishwarupa are nearer to the Lord. They are Yoga Vittamas. He did not want to talk about those who pursue Nirguna Brahma because they are not available for comparison. They are Jnanis, for they have all the requisite qualifications which are gathered only by Karma Yoga. They are Jnanis, for they have all the requisite qualifications which are gathered only by Karma Yoga. Someone was asking this question, right? Who pursue Nirgun Brahma because they are not available for comparison? They are the Jnanis, or they have all the requisite qualifications which are gathered only by Karma Yoga. Addressing the Karma Yogis, he said, let your mind be set upon me. Let the buddhi have a commitment backed by understanding, nishchaya, about me. In this way, if you contemplate upon Parameshvara, you will have the right antakarana, and thereby you will remain one with me. Meaning, you will discover the oneness that exists between you and Ishvara. I'll read this again. Addressing the Karma Yogis, he said, let your mind be set upon me. Let the buddhi have a commitment backed by understanding, nishchaya, about me. In this way, if you contemplate upon Parameshwara, you will have the right antakarana, and thereby you will remain one with me. Meaning, you will discover the oneness that exists between you and Ishvara. A devotee is a karma yogi for the sake of the antakarana shuddhi required to gain knowledge. He wants to quicken the process by meditating upon Ishvara, but he is not able to do so. Then the Lord said, you can get your mind into the object of meditation if you follow the steps below.
So basically, he's talking about the Karma Yogi, because Jnani are nowhere in comparison, because they have already reached that Param Brahmas. They are already merged in him. But for a Karma Yogi, we
But
read
by
earlier also.
karma yoga only they reach there.
No.
Yeah,
Jnani have
then
already reached their destination. Like they are in that Aham Brahmasmi state, or like there is no difference between the Jnani and the Ishvara. So because always, you compare when two people are alike, then there is a comparison. When the Jnanis are far ahead of the Karma Yogi, so Bhagwan is saying that there is no comparison with, they are already reached me. They have already reached me. So he is talking about only the Karma Yogis. And how Karma Yogi should reach? Yeah, you want to ask?
Somebody just asked the question. There was answer to that. I mean, what she was asking, it's been written in the last paragraph, the last line. It says that.
yeah, it's a last line.
Yeah, last line of the last paragraph. It says that they have come to that stage only through Karma Yoga.
Yeah.
Jnanis
They
have
have
come
worked
through
already
Karma
worked
Yoga.
upon. Yeah. They have
Can you
gone
please?
through all this, Antakarna Shuddhi, the Antakarna Nishchalya. They have gone through all this. After that, they have reached a state of Jnani. So they are in no comparison with a Karma Yogi.
That's right.
And
Can someone explain that? Then the Lord said you can get your mind into the object of meditation if you follow the steps below. What does that mean? You can get your mind into the object of meditation.
Yeah, object of meditation is that Swarupa, that the Atma Tattva, that is the object of meditation for a devotee. The Karma Yogi is seeking that only, no? Object of meditation is that to focus. His focus is not on the materialistic world. He wants to reach that moksha state, or to have that jnana about the Ishvara. He wants to know who am I, who is Ishvara, how we are related. So it is that he want to inquire about himself. So it is that goal he has in mind, and that is the object of meditation, is that Atma Tattva only. Atma Tattva you can say, or you can say the Ishvara's Paramatma, or Atma Swarupa. That is all. It is all the same.
I think he is saying here, who am I? That is the object.
Yeah. So who am I is what? Who am I is again, he is talking about, inquiring about the Atma Tattva only.
Correct.
Brahmraji, are you there? You want me to continue for some time, or you want to take over?
Yes, I'm here, Mrinal. I'm just sharing screen. Just
Okay.
give me a minute. I'll just
Yeah.
share screen.
You read the shloka meanwhile,
Okay.
Mrinal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम् अभ्यासयोगेन ततो मामिच्छाप्तुं धनञ्जय. अथ then मयि in me chittam your mind sthiram steadily samadhatum to absorb na shaknoshi you are not able tatah then abhyasa yogena through the practice of yoga mam aptum to reach me ichha may you seek dhananjaya arjuna. Then if you are not able to absorb your mind steadily in me, then through the practice of yoga you may seek to reach me Arjuna.
Yeah, thank you, Mrinal. And going with the previous discussion, through Karma Yoga alone, you would not reach, you would not recognize Ishvara. The final step is Jnana. Karma Yoga is for all of us who have to mature, who have to attain that Antakarana Shuddhi, that degree of Antakarana Shuddhi and that stillness when knowledge can dawn. So the Karma Yoga aspect is only for the preparation. The two lifestyles that keep saying in chapter 3, one is that of a sannyasi who has given up everything to the exclusion of knowledge, pursuing knowledge. And second is the lifestyle of a karma yogi. So for Arjuna and all of us like Arjuna, karma yoga is the means. Karma yoga, and it's not again kevala karma yoga. It is karma yoga with doing Saguna Brahma Upasana. Because when we're doing the Saguna Brahma Upasana, we attain, what are we doing when we're doing Saguna Brahma Upasana? We're seeing Ishvara in everything around, in creation, people around. So ultimately, when we're practicing this, that sense of belongingness happens, that I belong to you, and that Sama Buddhi happens. You're able to see everyone as you, as Ishvara. So when that happens, that is a state of preparedness again.
Three things he said: meditation, Saguna Brahma Upasana, and Karma Yoga.
Yeah, Saguna Brahma Upasana is meditation, is dhyana. The Upasana there is dhyana, right? So, yeah. So shall we read this? Mai in Parameshwara, the Lord as Saguna Brahma. Let me read this again. Then, if you are not able to absorb your mind steadily in me, then through the practice of yoga, may you seek to reach me, Arjuna. Mai in Parameshwara, the Lord as Saguna Brahma. If it is not possible for you to place your mind in me steadily for a length of time, which is called dhyana, meditation, what should you do? Then may you desire to reach me through abhyasa yoga, the practice of yoga. Abhyasa means doing the same thing again and again punah punaha. Not mechanically, but with an alertness. Any skill depends entirely on abhyasa. Whether you want to drive a car or pilot a plane, you require hours of proper practice. It is the same here. The mind is not able to remain with a chosen object of meditation because of lack of abhyasa. We have not learned how to keep it there. All our lives, we have been wool gathering. Unless we forced it to, the mind does not stay focused on anything. And in meditation, nobody forces us. Although we have acquired many other skills, if asked to sit quietly for a few minutes, we cannot manage it. We get restless. This is the problem of a human mind. Yet, when it is compelled to do something, it will. When you understand a newspaper article, it is because your mind finds the topic compelling and remains there for a length of time. If you open a thriller, you can read it from cover to cover, even sacrificing your sleep. Your attention is drawn and the mind does not stray. But when you choose an object of meditation, you find your mind wanders everywhere. Therefore, the Lord considers the case when na shaknoshi, you are not able to, mai chittam samadhatu, to absorb your mind in me. If you can commit your mind to a given object and without effort are able to dwell upon it, that is chitta samadhana. If you can commit your mind to a given object and without effort are able to dwell upon it, that is chitta samadhana. If that is not possible, undertake yoga abhyasa. Yoga here means Ashtanga yoga. Because a karma yogi is being discussed, we know that he already has yama and niyama. All he has to do is asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and dharana to gain the capacity to contemplate dhyana siddhi. In order for this to happen, he follows the prescribed steps. Asana means any one of the postures in which you can sit and meditate. The capacity to sit for a length of time, asana siddhi, can be acquired through practice. Pranayama is discipline with reference to breathing. You deliberately inhale and exhale in given proportions and retain the inhalation or refrain from it for given lengths of time. Pratyahara is withdrawing the mind from the external world of objects. And it does not automatically happen unless one has consciously cultivated the discipline of absence of greed. So pratyahara happens when it does not automatically happen unless one has consciously cultivated the discipline or of absence of greed. The greed could be not just to acquire objects, but to experience. I want to do this. I want to experience that. I want to see that. I want to listen to that. All that is again anti-pratyahara. You're going outwardly in order to get that satisfaction and happiness. Pratyahara is when you retrieve the senses and the mind and you dwell inside. You're offering an alternate ahara to the mind from within. So you're not interested in listening, hearing, touching, tasting, smelling, or even knowing. You're even dropping that. So that greed, therefore, that absence of greed. We should know how to avoid grabbing and also how to get rid of useless things. First, we have to clean the junk out of our own room. This we find difficult because we always think it is going to be useful sometime. Isn't this the fact? I think all of us who are doing clutter cleaning, when we look at things that can be actually given away or discarded, we say, oh, maybe sometime later it will come of use. It has been there for 10 years and has been of no use whatever, but still you cannot get rid of it. The practice of pratyahara starts here. Similarly, one should have a mind that is relatively free of conflicts. Only then pratyahara can take place. So pratyahara, it's an abhyasa again.
Also, it involves like analysis also, no? Like if you are thinking, even or your thought process also, when you are aware of your thought process, you will be aware that it is going towards the negative things or unnecessary things. Then you withdraw from that and you again focus on some subjective, like some useful thing.
Yeah.
Or maybe positive things. So it is again in the mind also, like you throw all the rubbish out of your mind so that it be in that steady state.
Decluttering the mind. And that is
Yeah.
where processing is so important. That self-analysis, bit of self-vichara is so important. If, for instance, you've gotten angry or you're upset about something, instead of just diverting your mind, distracting your mind, doing some singing or chanting and feeling good about it, whereas that the root cause of that upset is still there. It is like you're just covering it up. You're just distracting the mind temporarily. Rather face it, confront what is happening inside you and ask yourself, why is what is happening? Then you'll slowly, gradually start decluttering your emotions, as in you'll be able to understand them. And that much cleaner your antakarana will become. Otherwise, all our life will only be, fooling ourselves, which is what Swamiji mentioned in the previous verse, chapter here, the previous paragraph. See, the mind is not able to remain with the chosen object of meditation because of lack of abhyasa. We have not learned how to keep it there. All our lives, we have only been wool gathering. So it is from one to another, we just keep jumping the monkey mind. But the whole idea is to keep it still. And just like how that taila dharavat, when you're pouring oil from a bigger container into another container, how it is uninterrupted, the flow. That is how our dhyana has to be on the chosen object of meditation. Are we able to keep our mind so steady? It just keeps jumping from one place to another. Chanchalam hi manah Krishna is what Arjuna said in the 6th chapter. No? And that is so true. That is the nature of the mind. But the mind with abhyasa, you can slowly befriend your mind and kind of rein it into focusing on the object of meditation, bringing it inwardly. And for that, this practice of Ashtanga Yoga will help as pratyahara, withdrawing the mind from the external world. So similarly,
Best, like which is most important is for a good meditation is pratyahara. No?
Very important. Yeah.
So you do asanas, you do the pranayam also, inhaling, exhaling. But before meditation, you are doing it, then you get calmer. But whole day, if you apply pratyahara, then your meditation will not take much of time sitting, and it will be in a like it won't take much time if whole day you are practicing pratyahara. I was just thinking this way.
Very true. Very, because the more you keep feeding the senses, the more junk that keeps getting accumulated inside the mind as impressions. And that much more clearing up you require to do. Whereas if you are practicing yama and niyama, wherein you have that discipline, you have that shama and dhamma as well, then you are not adding to the inner clutter. All you have to do is just clear it up a little by little, which is why this is such a beautiful combination of things that Patanjali has put up in the Ashtanga Yoga. Each one complements the other. And for Pratyahara, the one important thing is to have absence of greed. Not just for objects of senses, sense experiences. Example is, if there is something going on, say a movie or something going on TV, and that is the time you would want to do some self-inquiry or read some scripture, come to the Bhagavad Gita, then are you able to tell yourself, no, I don't want to be greedy to experience that whatever movie, because that is anyway ephemeral. It is immaterial. Whether you watch it or not, nothing is going to happen. There, if you can train your mind and you can use your viveka there, this is the only time I have, let me do this. So then that will amount to having absence of greed. And ultimately, even with respect to spirituality, there we can become greedy. I want to experience this, I want to experience that, everything. So that is where I remember what Nana said yesterday. He said, Gita Shastra alone is enough. You don't need to read n number of books, not required. You just hold on to this, and this is like the Moksha Shastra. It is not discouraging others to read other scriptures, but just becoming aware of it. Because otherwise, even in the spiritual path, one can do a lot of spiritual shopping and fool ourselves. You be doing like what Gurudev says, superficially you're going from one to another, digging, and you're not even getting water. Whereas you dig deep in one place, then there is a possibility of you striking water. Similarly, Gita is that one scripture that is so complete in itself, which is why Gurudev also keeps advising. He says, read the Bhagavad Gita and at least one shloka every day, understand the meaning. So
And
all
this
this,
greed also like greed of knowing about the people around you. It is the tendency of humans to know what is happening to her or him or what is going on. That is also that greed. You want to know something about others also. So it is just like cutting your thoughts and remodeling them, basically.
Yeah, correct. And even with respect to social media, how much of time, I mean, I am victim to that. I should confess that, how much of time gets taken up by the WhatsApp and the Facebook, and isn't that part of greed? It is like you want to see what is the other message, another message, and it goes on and on. And how much of time unconsciously is consumed by this? So it is up to, again, the more we practice pratyahara, like you rightly pointed out, Dr. Savita, the more inner cleansing happens.
But it is simply said and difficult to do because the monkey mind keeps on hopping, When you open the phone, it is it is like,
It is there.
let me see what messages are there. Actually, you want to see the important ones, but you go through others
You end
also.
up,
That is
exactly,
where
you
have
end up
to
getting caught up with unnecessary ones.
unnecessary. Right.
Because see,
It's
what he said earlier is so meaningful here. first we have to clean the junk out of our own room. We should know how to avoid grabbing and also how to get rid of useless things. This we find difficult because we always think it's going to be useful sometime. We want to hold on to things. We want to hold on to messages. So we want to hold on to our experiences. Then such revealing words, sentences.
But
So-
reading Bhagavad Gita is no less than reading a thriller here, because
Yeah.
every chapter you feel that suspense. Oh yes, now we are getting towards it, and then oh no, not yet. You know.
Right. Right.
But it is for you only. The common man, like other people, they will not find it thriller. They will say, "What is this? Leave it. Let me live my life."
Which is true.
It is for us. We find it very interesting, knowing further.
That
But
is why it is
other
said,
people don't find it.
yeah, Ishvara anugrahat eva pumsam advaita vasana. So it is again not everybody's inclination. I have my aunt who I've been asking to join. I mean, she's nothing else. She's retired and everything. But she says, I don't know, I don't have that ruchi for Bhagavad Gita. Why talk of my aunt? I did not have several years ago. Although I was chanting, although I was maybe, I shouldn't say fooling myself, I was chanting, but that's it. It was kind of superficial. I cannot say it's deeper now, but it's certainly better than what it was earlier, before few years ago. Now I understand why Nana was kept goading us about, the Gita home study. He says that is such a treasure. This was 10 years ago. For me, it took 10 years almost to get to this point. So like Nana mentioned yesterday, we do not belittle anybody. We do not judge anyone. Each one is in his or her own journey. You do not, if someone is into ritualistic practice, let them. You do not unsettle their minds. It will take their time. They will take their time. But you set an example. You live your life the way Bhagwan asks you to, like being a karma yogi, doing your upasana. That will be inspiration. That's exactly what Nana did. When I look back, he would just suggest once or twice and that leave it. He would never nag. Sometimes we get into the habit of nagging or going on. When I do that to my children when they were younger, I would regarding Kriya and all that. But nagging will not get you anywhere. No? So just be an example, be an ideal for, and you continue this. So like you said, it's a thriller. Yes, of course. Now we're getting that ruchi of the Bhagavad Gita. So the practice of pratyahara starts here. Similarly, one should have a mind that is relatively free of conflicts. Only then pratyahara can take place. Dharana is the practice of concentration. This has to begin with things you love. If you concentrate on what you like to dwell upon, you will find it is not difficult. All these steps called Abhyasa Yoga lead to Dhyana, meditation. You follow these disciplines to help you gain the capacity to meditate. And you also meditate and study the Shastra. Being a participant in the creation, naturally you find yourself in situations which warrant certain actions. The action called for is duty, being in conformity with the moral order, dharma. Looking upon this dharma as a form of Ishvara is karma yoga. So because Swamiji had said, or because Bhagwan said, you must practice dhyana, you must practice Ashtanga yoga, then there is a call for action. You're the mother, for instance, in the house, and food has to be cooked. You cannot say, oh, because Bhagwan has asked me to practice Ashtanga yoga, I'm going to do this and leave the kitchen. There you have to decide, call for action is there. Dharma is what? Your dharma, your duty is to fulfill your role and responsibility. So you intertwine and see how you prioritize, do your action, do your karma yoga while practicing abhyasa yoga and meditation. And when you're in that act of cooking, you look upon that itself as Ishvara, as what you're doing could be done as an offering to Ishvara. Shankara gives us the definition of abhyasa yoga, again and again, bringing the mind back from everything else to one object of meditation. Why does he say again and again, punah punaha? Because the mind will stray. The definition of meditation is repeatedly bringing the mind to the object of meditation. We cannot.
Excuse me, can you please explain here object of meditation? Because again, it becomes an abstract thing, right? For us to see the nirguna.
No,
Then
we are
how?
practicing Saguna Brahma Upasana. The object of meditation here could be any aspect of creation. Well, for instance, if you're doing Sahaj, your practice of meditation itself becomes a practice. So in the object of meditation, there would be
Sound.
Huh?
Mantra, right?
Yeah, the mantra you take whenever it's required. Ultimately, the object of meditation is yourself, is Ishvara, Atma, Brahma, whatever you call.
Actually, the dharana and the object of meditation, they are two different things. With the help of the dharana, you reach that the object of meditation. Object of meditation, as Dr. Brahmara is saying, is you yourself, the Swarupa Atma. Whereas dharana is the various tools which help us to gain that goal. Dharana could be like you do sun meditation, you do mantra japa, you do so many type of meditations are there. If you consistently do one type of meditation daily, so you will that awareness would be you will reach that state in the end after abhyasa, that you will find that bliss that in that after making it a dharana and doing abhyasa. So it is dharana can be shifted. Like if you initially you are doing on a particular, suppose you are meditating upon sun, then you shift after some time, you shift towards different thing, or maybe you are meditating upon a form of Bhagwan. That is also the dharana, I think. Otherwise, dharana is only to make the mind in a focused state. Yeah.
Yeah,
To reach that main object of meditation.
Which is very true. So getting the distracted mind to stay focused is dharana. And when you, like Savitaji rightly mentioned, when you're practicing dharana, dhyana automatically happens.
So there is no object as such, right?
Yeah, that is what Swamiji mentioned. You cannot objectify because it is their subject. But here, because there has to be something that your mind dwells on. The mind otherwise goes here and there. So when you remove all the other distractions, you're keeping your mind pointed, focused with the help of dharana. Then what happens is that you merge with the subject yourself. Here he's mentioning that is the object of meditation. But in effect, it is, practically speaking, it is not an object. It is you yourself.
Yeah.
It is rather the goal of your life. No?
Yeah.
Rather than saying the object of meditation, we can say it is the goal of our life or our practices, basically. We read in the previous shloka also, I think it was 6 or 7. 7 maybe. I don't remember.
See, why does he
The
say again and again, punah punah? Because the mind will stray. The mind has so many things it can dwell on, right? So why do we have to bring it to the object of meditation? Why is he mentioning object? Is because something that it will hold on, it'll stay focused on, it'll stay hooked on to.
It will get hooked on to the dharana, like in Sahas Samadhi, the mantra. It will get hooked on to that mantra, but the object of meditation is nothingness, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nothingness or everything. It depends on how we look at it.
In
But
in
that-
shloka number 7, we read Matparahanu. That Matpara is that commitment to the Ishvara. It is that ultimate end which one wants. That's Swarupa or knowledge of Ishvara. That is the main ultimate end or the last end a karma yogi seeks. That is where we talked about that you should have that ultimate end in your mind, that goal. Otherwise, with this question, I put it to Nanaji also. What he said, he said that you should have some goal. Otherwise, your pursuit will not be fruitful. You will be shifting your focuses. Like you'll not be more focused, and you'll not do your karma according to that. You have to have that goal in your mind. Until unless that is there, your efforts would not be so efficient or so uh, like in a disciplined way or maybe
Streamlined.
streamlined. So this we read in shloka 7, that matparah is that commitment of the karma yogi. He should have that focus or the goal, ultimate end he should have. And if the main end is decided, then anything you do in your life, it is connected to that only. So all that meditation you are doing, dharana, pratyahara, goal.
Yeah. So the definition of meditation is repeatedly bringing the mind to the object of meditation. We cannot complain that the mind wanders in meditation because that is what makes it meditation dhyana. If the mind remains absorbed, it is called samadhi. In meditation, the mind will wander, and whenever it does, you bring it back to the chosen object. If it drifts away again, bring it back again. This is abhyasa. Asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and dharana can be considered constituents of dhyana. Therefore, Krishna says, seek to reach me through the practice of yoga, Arjuna. Tataha abhyasa yogena mamaptum ichha. Then the Lord says, Abhyasepyasamarthosi matkarma paramo bhava madarthamapi karmani kurvan siddhimavapsyasi. I think we'll take verse 10 tomorrow. Even if you do not have the capacity for the practice of this yoga, may you become one for whom action dedicated to me is paramount. Even doing actions for my sake you will gain success. Bhagwan is giving so many alternatives for different mindsets. So anyone wants to share anything? We have a few minutes.
I think when we are talking about goal, then most of us are talking about reaching moksha, being liberated from all bondages. And what I would like to add here is, but having that goal in mind is one thing. Focusing on that goal is also one thing. Okay, have that as a goal. But what are the methods prescribed to reach that goal? Are we following that? Like accepting people as they are, being in the present moment. All these opposite values are complementary. All the knowledge that is given in the Gita, are we practicing that? That is the path shown to reach the goal. And what I have been saying is that we should not be restless or feverish in reaching the goal. What is actually our goal? Are we really striving for moksha? Then are we walking on the path, on the correct path? Are we using the knowledge to our advantage? Is our mind in equanimity? Is our mind getting disturbed? All these things we need to see before just thinking about the goal. As I explained in the realms of consciousness, there also it shows that the rishis did tapa for 432 years to reach Vaikuntha. So I don't know, all the challenging situations when we are faced with them, how are we using the knowledge? Otherwise, just having a goal, it's like saying I am a middle class citizen, but my goal is to have a Mercedes car, but I will not work towards that goal. I don't know, somehow this is what I'm seeing during our Manana classes. What I'm saying is, don't be feverish or restless about reaching the goal, but first follow the path as prescribed in the Gita. To reach all the steps that are given, being in knowledge, meditating on Saguna, moving from Saguna to Nirguna Brahma, all that we follow the path. Only then having that kind of a goal is going to be, other looking at the goal and not walking on the path is something, I don't know.
But this is what we are doing from last so many years, or rather these 2 years. And that is why there is so much of difference from few years back to now. This is how we are working upon it. It will, as Bhagwan says, it will not happen in a moment. It will take time. So it is not that we are getting impatient or feverish. It is only that if you have that knowledge, you apply it, imbibe it, and you work upon yourself. And this is
Exactly. Are
all
we
what we are
applying it? Are
doing.
we working on it? Are
Yeah.
we
So
really
this is
applying the knowledge, or are we getting disturbed?
No, we are not getting disturbed at all. It is by the help of this knowledge only that we are able to be consistent in this be in this knowledge for so much time, and of course working upon ourselves, correcting ourselves, and no, I don't think any of the sadhak here is impatient or in that tumultuous this frame of mind. Everyone is, I think, everyone has that peace of mind. Nobody is in that feverish state, and it is this knowledge which is helping us, rather, no.
And we are all here because we have that moksha purushartha. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So whether we accept it or not, They subconsciously have the goal. You want
Yeah.
you want to know yourself. You may
And
not
it
express
is not,
I have a goal.
yeah, and it is not that it is like you are saying it outwardly or some superficially. It is that inherent desire inside you that is pushing you, or that is provoking you to remain on this path. You don't, like, for me, I don't want to go astray apart from this any time, unless God forbidden that I do God
You will
go
not
astray.
also,
But
Dr. Savita.
but but
You will not,
you know,
because Bhagwan himself has assured, isn't it?
yeah,
One who
and you
thinks
know that this is the only rus I find in my life. This is the only rus which I in the whole day. This is the only rus I like. I feel so much bliss. I am not like into relations and these materialistic then professions. No, I'm doing all the things, but I don't feel that rush in them at all. The only rush is in this 1.5 hour, and this 1.5 hour is like a bliss. Uh, for me, I am so much satisfied with this. I want to remain as such.
what my sister
Whether
would
I evolve or not evolve, I don't know, but I want to remain in knowledge and of course work upon myself, correcting myself at every step. This is what is the goal, whether I reach moksha or not. But I just want to cleanse myself.
This is exactly what my sister says. She says, because their schedule is they start and end the day with knowledge. She says this 1 hour, 1.5 hours that she spends is what actually rejuvenates her. Irrespective of whether she's a hemato-oncologist, has a very tough profession, a career, very tough. But she says this is what brings up the juice, like exactly what you said. So that again is, unless you have Ishvara's grace, that doesn't happen. So we should all just feel blessed that we are in this space. And like Percy ji said, not just have a goal. Of course, we're all working towards it. Go on. The means is as important as the goal. So at every step, stop and say, are we practicing being a true karma yogi? Or are we going, astray? So that is what self-reflection will take us to.
I must admit over here, like many times I was restless to know more, or I didn't understand few things, or though I understood the word meaning, I couldn't understanding. I didn't understand it internally, and I was restless. And that time, Percy's words have been, settling my mind. Oh, don't worry, it will happen. So thanks to Percy's, I was restless many a times. So thanks to him to, give these words. Oh, don't worry, you are going to be there. But why you become restless now? These were his words put me into that calmer mind.
Yeah, that's the power of Sangha. Thanks to Percy ji and his wisdom. So shall we continue tomorrow? We'll wind up here today. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.